Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will discuss about the continuity equation for a control volume using the integral analysis. In my previous video, I have explained the derivation of continuity equation using differential analysis. So, what is the main difference between an integral analysis and a differential analysis? In a differential analysis, the equations are derived as the differential equations, and if we will solve those differential equations, we will get the point by point values for the flow variables. Suppose for velocity u, the differential equation is du by dx equal to x square. If we will solve this, we will get the velocity as a function of x. So at any position x, we will get the velocity. At different points, we will get the velocity distribution. But sometimes we are interested to find out the average velocity over a cross section. So if you know the average velocity over a cross section, then you can find out the mass flow rate. So density multiplied by the cross sectional area multiplied by the average velocity. So this average gross flow behaviors we will get by using the integral analysis. Similarly, the mass flow rate at any cross section we will get from the integral analysis. Like what is the lift force acting on a aeroplane wing, we will get by using the integral analysis. But the pressure distribution over the aeroplane wing, we will get this by using the differential analysis. So this is the main difference between differential analysis and integral analysis. So in this video, we will get the continuity equation for a control volume. So basically, for a control volume, we are interested to find out the mass flow, the momentum inlets, momentum outlet, mass flow inlet, mass flow outlet, energy in, energy out. These are the gross flow behaviors entering the control volume and leaving the control volume. So that's why for a control volume, it's important to know the equations. So in this video, we will only focus on the continuity equation for a control volume. So for this purpose, we have to use the Reynolds transport theorem. In my previous video, I have explained thoroughly in a simplified manner the derivation of the Reynolds transport theorem. You can follow that video. So what is the purpose of Reynolds transport theorem? So it is an analytical tool to shift from describing the laws governing fluid motion from the system concept to control volume concepts. So all the physical laws like conservation of mass, conservation of linear momentum, conservation of angular momentum, energy equation, entropy principle, all these physical laws are written for a system. A system means it is having a fixed mass in space. A control volume is a fixed region in space. So generally in fluid mechanics, we prefer the control volume approach compared to a system approach. So that is why all these physical laws has to be rewritten for a control volume. For example, F equal to ma. This is Newton's second law, and this equation is valid for a system. I cannot write F equal to ma for a control volume. So the corresponding equivalent expression for F equal to ma has to be rewritten for a control volume. So by using Reynolds transport theorem, we can do that. So it is a very important theorem in the study of fluid mechanics. So now we will discuss what is Reynolds transport theorem applied to the conservation of mass or continuity equation. So the conservation of mass for a system is dm by dt equal to 0, because as per the definition of the system, the total mass of the system remains constant. So rate of change of mass for the system is 0. So this is the simple equation for a system. So I have to rewrite this expression for a control volume by using Reynolds transport theorem. And what is the mass of the system? You can integrate for the system, divide this system into small fluid elements of mass dm, and if we integrate the small element masses for the system, we will get the total mass of the system, which is integration of rho into dv, density into volume. So that is the mass. It is a volumetric integral. Now Reynolds transport theorem. For any extensive property capital N, so capital N may be the total mass of the system, it may be the total momentum of the system, it may be the total energy of the system. N is, it's a extensive property, and eta is the intensive, corresponding intensive property. That means the intensive property per unit mass. So if we know the rate of change of any extensive property for a system, then using Reynolds transport theorem, its equivalent expression is del by del t integration of eta rho dv for the control volume plus integration of eta rho v dot dA for the control surface. So you know a control volume is always surrounded by a control surface through is mass, momentum and energy are entering and leaving. So this is the expression for the Reynolds transport theorem. So the left hand side expression is for the system, and the right hand side its equivalent expression for a control volume. So you see the surface integral in the right hand side is eta rho v dot dA. So dot product is used. So for any control surface, the velocity vector at which the flow is leaving, if you know, and the normal vectors to the cross section, outward normal basically, is known, then you can find out the dot product. If both the vectors like the velocity vector and the outward normal to the control surface are in the same direction, so this is a plus sign. But if the normal vector and the velocity vector are in opposite direction, so this quantity is a negative quantity. For example, suppose mass is entering to a cylindrical pipe. So at the inlet, velocity vector is from towards exit. Suppose entering inlet from the left hand, so the velocity vector is acting towards right, but the outward normal to the inlet is towards left. So the velocity vector and the outward normal vector are acting in opposite direction. So at the inlet, this dot product is negative, but at the outlet, both the vectors are acting in the same direction, so this dot product is positive. So the Reynolds transport theorem tells that the rate of change of any extensive property for a system is rate of change of that property in the control volume, because you see eta is extensive property per unit mass and rho dv is mass. So extensive property per unit mass into mass will be the extensive property. So rate of change of that property in the control volume. And what is the second term? It is nothing but the rate R2 is the extensive property n is exiting the surface of the control volume. Rho v into A, it is basically mass flow rate into the intensive property, basically it is the rate of extensive property. Yeah, net flux, basically in fluid mechanics we use the term flux. The mass flux, it may be the momentum flux, may be energy flux. Flux means for unit time. So this second term is the net flux of n out of the control volume, because at the outlet it's positive, at the inlet it is negative. So net flux out of the control volume. So suppose for mass flux, all mass flow rates leaving the control volume minus all mass flow rates entering the control volume. So this is the Reynolds transport theorem, and from this we will derive the continuity equation. Yeah, it's also known as conservation of mass. So for a system, m is the total mass, and for a system the total mass remains constant as per the definition of a system. So rate of change of mass for a system is 0. So your capital N is m and eta equal to 1. So put this n and eta in the Reynolds transport theorem, and we will get the left hand side is 0 and the right hand side eta equal to 1 you put. So del by del t integration of rho dv volumetric integral plus integration of rho b dot dA surface integral equal to 0. So it can be simplified for a incompressible flow. For a incompressible flow is rho equal to constant, you can take outside of the integration. So it becomes rho del by del t integration of dv plus rho integration of v dot dA equal to 0. So rho, this is rho, is cancelling out. So the continuity equation in integral form becomes dv by dt plus integration v dot dA equal to 0. So generally the control volumes are non-deformable, fixed size, so the volume does not change. So this dv by dt will be 0. So you are getting only integration of v dot dA equal to 0. It's a surface integral. So this is valid for steady flow as well as for unsteady flow. Also viscosity play no role. This is also valid for viscous flow as well as for inviscid flow. And if the velocity is uniform at each inlet and outlet of the control volume, so this can be reduced to a algebraic form. So velocity is entering through a control surface, suppose area A. So it's the b dot A. Similarly velocity leaving at some exit of area A. So there also you will get the multiplication of velocity and area. So in this way you take the summation of all products of velocity and area, which is equal to 0, but it is a dot product, keep in mind. So dot product means the velocity vector and normal outward vector to the control surface. These two directions you have to keep in mind. If both the vectors are acting in the same direction, so dot product will be positive, be a cos theta. And if both the vectors are acting in the opposite direction, you will get the dot product as negative. So that means the summation of all. So v dot A means it is the volumetric flow rate. Summation of volumetric flow rates equal to 0 if it's a incompressible flow. If it's a compressible flow, then summation of mass flow rates, rho will be also come into picture. Summation of rho v dot A equal to 0. So we see that from this integral form we got the algebraic form. So we have to find out the mass flow rates at each inlet, volumetric flow rate at each inlet, and similarly mass flow rate or volumetric flow rate at each outlet, and the summation of all mass flow rates or volumetric flow rates, depending whether it is incompressible flow, compressible flow, whether density remains constant, density varies. Basically in most of the cases we will encounter incompressible flow, so the summation of all volumetric flow rates will be 0. This is the simple continuity equation we got from the integral analysis using Reynolds transport theorem. So let's solve a small question. So consider a steady flow and there are three openings. There is one inlet, there is in a pipe branch, basically it is a pipe branch. On the left side the flow enters, on the right side the flow leaves. At the bottom also there is an opening, but we don't know whether the flow is leaving or flow is entering at section 2, and there is a hole at 4 where fluid is lost out of the hole. So the velocity is v1 and v3 is given, a1, a2 and a3 is given. So we have to find out the average velocity at section 2. So here we have to find out the velocity. So that means velocity means simply continuity equation will be satisfied. Okay, mass is entering, yeah, the volume is entering. From the volume flow rate we will get the velocity. So we will use the integral expression for the continuity equation for the control volume. So we will choose a fixed control volume. So we will surround this, the system we will surround the whole system as the control volume by dotted lines. That becomes a control volume. So at 2 we don't know whether the flow is leaving or the flow is entering. So let's assume at section 2 is leaving the control volume. So assumptions are steady flow, incompressible flow and the uniform properties at each section. So as per the continuity equation, summation of all v dot a is 0. At the inlet v dot a is negative because outward normal and the velocity acting in the opposite direction. And at section 3 it's positive. At section 2 it's leaving, so it's also positive. At 4 it's leaving the control volume, so it's also positive. All inlets are negative, all exits are positive. So minus v1a1 plus v2a2 plus v3a3 plus q4 equal to 0. So if you will solve, you will get v2 equal to minus 4.5 meter per second. Minus means our assumption is wrong. We assume that at 2 flow will leave the control volume, but we are getting the negative value. So that means at section 2 the flow will enter the control volume. So this is a simple application of the integral form of the continuity equation to a control volume. So if you are using the integral, the forms, maybe for the control volume, maybe for the continuity equation, maybe for the momentum equation, maybe for the energy equation, this is always applied to a control volume. So selection of the control volume is very important. So select a proper control volume and apply the integral equations for continuity. You can solve many problems. So thank you for watching my video. If you like, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and like the video. Thanks.